any other time. But if there were a bit of spare time where teachers looked at topics they're going to be teaching in term 1 next year, and there was an allocated time where the teachers could sit with you and you could talk about where they could put the bits in. But this business of helping them actually embed the strategies in content they're teaching is going to be important. The second key aspect of the professional learning, and again that you're going to need to put this into action, is for your colleagues to know what the particular strategy looks like. Now, we've ended up with a big list here that I'm going to type up. We've all talked about these, and a lot of you have thought about these for at least 2 years. And Joan, some of you have been thinking about them for a bit longer, but not all of your colleagues will know what these look like. And if it were possible towards the end of this year to actually you video yourselves putting in place just 5 minutes of 1 or 2 of the strategies, that's going to help the teachers see what you mean. And the thing that you've really got to make clear here is that it's not the teaching, it's the learning. Is that okay? I've really stressed this today. It's the students' learning activity. It's their learning activity that you need to be drawing attention to. That it's your teaching is inducing children to learn in particular ways. Sorry. The third point, it's important that the teachers actually try out bits of the teaching procedures. That after you've planned, you've gone through a lesson that a teacher might be going to teach in March, and you've annotated the text and they've talked about the things they might say with you and perhaps rehearsed it a bit, thrown it around, talked about it. They need to do it. And they also need to be aware of what they should be looking for in student behaviours. When the students are doing this, what will they be able to do? What will the action actually look like in the students' learning? So indicators over a 5-minute period of what the student should be doing is important. You can see the importance here of actually talking about how you'll do it, what dialogue you'll use, what actions, the gestures, how the teacher will actually try it out. So it's fine to have, first of all, the lesson plan where you've said this is what you're going to do, but the next step is to actually think about what it will look like in the teaching. How's it going to operate in the teaching? Damn it. It may be necessary that you, specifically with the literacy strategies, that you coach or you are coached to implement particular parts in your teaching, and that you either demonstrate or you see demonstrated in your teaching some of the teaching procedures. So again, we talked last time about a plan, working out a plan for a term, whereby a teacher can see the sort of assistance and guidance they're going to be getting. But the demonstration can really help people see how they can embed it. The idea of building the group knowledge, a key aspect of the approach to professional learning that I'm pushing, is that a group of teachers come together and build gradually this group knowledge of what they know about teaching at any point. And it may be that you want to start off doing that this year, where you're working with a group of teachers who are not working on the high reliability strategies to the extent that you are, but you're sharing your knowledge with them and that they're giving you feedback. And so when you get underway with the the teachers actually trialling it next year, regularly, once a month if possible, the group of teachers come together and talk about what new things they've learnt about literacy teaching over the last month and what things they might experiment with next. I think I said last time, for me, that was a critical part of the success of what we were doing at Belfield. Once a month, on the Monday afternoon, one staff meeting a month, I'd lead a discussion where the teachers as a whole talked about what they'd been working on, each teacher in turn. There were only 12 teachers on the staff, or 11 teachers on the staff, and what they were going to do next, and how the strategies had actually worked for particular students and so on. I think a key, if your school is implementing this effectively next year, there will be this ongoing pooling of professional knowledge. There'll be a dialogue about what new literacy strategies have been learnt, how they were done, how they worked for individual students, how you assessed, how you monitored the effectiveness of the teaching, how you saw the children learning more effectively, and so on. They were really important things. I think it's reasonable to say that not all of us use reflection to the amount that we could reflect. And it may be important with some of your colleagues for them to be aware that they have time when they don't have to have all the answers. And as I've said, certainly for me, from where I'm coming from, I don't remotely have all the answers. And after every activity that I engage in, I really do reflect. In the time I was lucky to spend, like at Reservoir on Monday, that I was really lucky that I had time then to reflect on what we talked about. And there was a whole lot of things that were raised that as you guys know, that I didn't have answers to, and I needed to think about. And the same thing yesterday. And on every occasion, this business of reflecting allows us to keep building up our knowledge. It's a very important attitude. We shouldn't be expecting any teacher in this program to be fearful of not having all the answers, certainly. And we should be encouraging everyone to engage in both forward reflection, like thinking about what it would look like in my teaching, and in that way I'm going to see some problems and some barriers, then I can deal with them, and also reflecting on what has worked, where have things gone so far. We've talked a lot about building the links with the school leadership team, and also we've talked about increasing staff awareness. And so what I wanted to go through with that professional learning is that it might be necessary to actually have a timetable or a framework for doing that. And if you look in your notes from last time, I actually included a chart for doing that. So on page, have you got page 23 of last time's notes? And I think I made this point last time. If someone had